The good, the bad, the ugly from Tennessee football so far this year. We spin the wheel of content here on a fun Friday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into it, your Friday morning Locked On Vols. I am your host, Cain, a member of the VolQuest.com team here in town covering your Tennessee Volunteers. Appreciate you guys for being here. Making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single morning. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. We are free and available wherever, literally wherever you can find a podcast, we are there. This is Locked On Vols. Got a fun show. Boogie Bentley's going to join me for the entirety of a Friday show. We're going to look back a little bit at Oklahoma, talk about the improved defense that we saw, Joey Aguilar, the bad from that game, but the great season that he's having. The national storyline is not making more of a deal out of it. We're going to revisit something that we did over the summer that we're going to laugh about that's going to be hilarious. A 30-minute conversation where we're all over the map, and those are the best types of shows in my opinion. So stay tuned. Boogie Bentley's coming up starting right now. We're all over the map talking Tennessee football right here on a Locked On Talking Vols Friday morning. Boogie Bentley, it has been it's been a week to say the least. Friday morning, and a couple of days separating us from the loss on Saturday night, but this has been kind of what you expect. A lot of frustration, a lot of apathy at times this week, and more frustrations because, again, Tennessee's pretty much knocked out of the CFP. I know Tennessee was ranked 25th, but I mean, you got to move mountains and everything for Tennessee to make the field now. So overall, how has your week been from a content creative perspective, and your thoughts since Tennessee's lost to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, people are mad. People are frustrated, and I get it, right? It's college football in 2025. We talked about this on my show on Monday. Gone are the days of just get bowl eligible. Gone are the days of, hey, let's go to a January 1st bowl. Let's go to a Florida bowl. People don't care about that. It's college football playoff, or the season is a failure. And even when you look at the grand scheme of things going into this year, where this football team was at, being without your two starting corners, your starting quarterback leaving after spring camp, you and I talked about it, man. You're kind of right where you thought you might be, right? Losses to Georgia, Alabama, and then Oklahoma kind of felt like that swing game because it was in Neyland Stadium. You like Tennessee in this game, but you're not really surprised. If I told you before we started this thing that, hey, we were going to have 3 losses and they were going to be to Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma, you'd probably look at me and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's how you lost those games that I think has this fan base even more frustrated. You miss a field goal against Georgia, the pick 6 against Alabama. You shot yourself in the foot all night long against Oklahoma. So it's just frustrating. It's maddening. And I can spin that 2 different ways, because you could also look at it and say, hey, we could be sitting here with 1 loss right now. But that just makes it sting that much more. And I think that's why this fan base has kind of got a little bit of a buzz to it. And when you throw around the words fire Josh Heupel, I don't think there's very many people saying that, but there are conversations being had about that because of a small vocal minority.
Yeah, I don't think there's many conversations. I don't think there's many people saying that at all. But I do think that a couple of national media members are kind of making it more than it is, unfortunately. And then that creates those conversations. And don't get me wrong, are there fans in the fan base that are done with Heupel? Sure. Were they done with Heupel after 2023? Sure. That's just how this thing goes, right? There's not a push to fire Josh Heupel at all, but that's kind of been a talking point this week, because I think a couple of national media plaudits have kind of made it that way. Not them saying fire Josh Heupel. It's almost like them coming to the defense of Josh Heupel. It's like, well, I don't think that's really necessary right now.
Well, look at Ryan Day last year, right?
Yeah.
Seemed to be a lot of buzz, a lot of noise about running Ryan Day out of town until he won a national championship. And then now the Ohio State fans are riding with Ryan Day. It's a buzz.
There are still some fans, though, that are still out on him because he doesn't beat Michigan.
Okay, well, that tells you all you need to know. And when, again, it is a small vocal minority, but to sit here and say nobody's calling for Josh Heupel's job, that's also a lie. There are 100% people in this fan base that are calling for Josh Heupel's job, but I think it just goes back to what I said at the top of the show. There is a frustration with a lot of people about Josh Heupel. There is a question about whether or not Josh Heupel is the guy. I see so many people making the comparison of Josh Heupel to maybe a Mark Richt or one Jonathan Crompton comparing Josh Heupel to James Franklin. I'm on record saying James Franklin should have never been fired. But you also, when you start having these conversations about comparing him to somebody like Mark Richt, you have to look at where we used to be, where we were at compared to where we're at now. I think that has to be part of the conversation when you're comparing Heupel to somebody like Mark Richt, who did it for an extended period of time. And I think that's what Tennessee needs right now is stability, right? You're not just trying to – you talk about recruiting. Josh Heupel is not only trying to get through an NCAA investigation that was impacting his recruiting, he is trying to rebrand the University of Tennessee of 15 years of misery, right? You look at Tennessee and you see mediocrity. You see a mediocre program. Josh Heupel's trying to change that, and I think he's doing it when we're not happy with 9-10 win seasons. I think he is changing that narrative, but he still has a long way to go, and I think stability is key for this program right now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even talked, and maybe from a content creative perspective, that's a miss by me. I haven't even discussed that, haven't even made the headline, just because, again, you said it a few times. It's such a small minority that I don't even think it's worth giving attention to. But again, it has kind of been a little bit of a story this week because of some of the national media conversations. But it's more frustration, and that's fine. You can be frustrated, you can be mad. Like it's not my place to tell anybody how to feel, and certainly fans are asked so much more from nowadays with talent fees and raising season ticket prices and NIL obligations and all that and more. So, people can be mad at the outcome on Saturday. It's frustrating because, and again, it's been a couple of days, but let's go back to it real quick, Boogie. I mean, it's a game where Tennessee's offense has been the story this year. Joey Aguilar has been the story this year. Tennessee football turns it over 3 times in the first half, and that's as simple as that. You lose the football game. Tennessee didn't take advantage of complimentary football. Yeah, I said it's a real thing, okay? Don't make fun of Butch Jones. It's literally a real thing, complimentary football. Tennessee didn't play it. Tennessee, Idris Farouk, one of the most gorgeous, I'm sure Coach Jay was just salivating in the mouth over this play. Just gorgeous football play I've ever seen, just punching that football loose, and Tennessee goes 3 and out. Tennessee does take advantage of the Edwin Spillman interception later in the game, but not very good complimentary football. On the offensive end, that's been your story all year long, and will continue to be your story, and that's the best part about this football team. Joey Aguilar is the best part about this football team, but not on Saturday nights, and you wasted a really good, and this is why I'm mad, a really good defensive effort, because you just don't know if you'll ever get that again.
Yeah, your defense played good enough to go out there and win the football game. That's it. You shot yourself in the foot. The stage was set. College football playoff eliminator, Neyland at night, dark mode. Everything was there. Everything was there for this football team to go out and take care of business. And I kind of laughed at my guys when we're making our predictions on Wednesday night, and all 3 of the guys that I'm doing the show with are like, this is the week the defense shows up. And I just laugh. And I'm like, no, the defense is not going to show up because they've not shown up all year long. You are who you are at this point. But what'd they do? The defense showed up. You talk about complimentary football. Keep it simple, stupid. We've been looking for complimentary football all year long, and this defense finally shows up, and they give us what we've been looking for, and then it's the offense. You can't put it together. It's like 22, that magical number 1 scoring offense. Defense was hot garbage, and then 23 or 24, your offense couldn't get out of its own way. And, man, that's why this game is so frustrating. And you can spin it 2 ways. We kind of talked about this Monday on my show, but it's the truth. If you look at numbers, if you look at total yards, okay, I told you one team outgained the other 255 to 99, 17 first downs to 5, third down 1 for 5 versus 6 for 8. Like, okay, that team's cooking. And then I go from the other side of it. Well, that team happens to have give up a fumble, scoop, and score. They had a missed field goal, and they had 2 really bad interceptions by the guy that you've been riding with all year. And I just want to point that out again. Man, Joey Aguilar is that guy. We would not be where we are at right now without Joey Aguilar. So let's not turn on him and start throwing darts at him like we like to do against certain quarterbacks. Let's ride with Joey Aguilar, because if it wasn't for him, man, I don't know where this team would be. I don't know what their record would be right now.
That's that old App State fan coming out of Boogie right now.
Don't turn on my guy, man.
No, but you're exactly right. And I haven't seen many people turn on him or anything. Maybe in the heat of the moment on Saturday, but again, people, I've got a buddy, and my buddy tells me every time I say I've got a buddy, he tenses up because he thinks I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about him right now. I mean, the most emotional, just lunatic during football games. And he turned on Joey Aguilar during the football game on Saturday. He did, but Monday morning came, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, Joey's the only reason that we've done anything this year, and that's so true. But football, you win some, you lose some. Joey didn't play a very good first half. Tennessee lost the football game. It's as simple as that, right? We'll continue to discuss. I'm going to throw a bunch of different topics here at Boogie as we continue segments 2 and 3 here on it's not a football Friday because Tennessee's not playing football tomorrow, but we'll continue to talk right here on a Locked On Vols, talking Friday morning here with Boogie Bentley. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. Well, let's go to tight end Ethan Davis. Ethan Davis has been really good since coming back from his couple of weeks sideline with injury. Ethan Davis in this football game, he went for 5 receptions, 62 yards. He had a touchdown last week at Kentucky right before the half. Ethan Davis is continuing to look like that guy that we thought that he would be this year, and that's been really, really great to see. Just like Ethan Davis delivered for Tennessee, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You can save every Saturday with your order. Stack it up all season long, and you can save up to $250, including a $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period ends November the 18th. Boogie, so here's the question of the week, man, and I've asked it to everybody. I've seen it on every radio show. We've talked about it at volquest.com, and it's kind of silly to say out loud, but the era we're in college football where it's playoff or bust, it feels like, and especially when your team was in the playoff last year and then you're not this year. The question is, where do you go from here? What does Tennessee do from here? The simple answer is, you go play football games, try to win them out, and be 9-3 and go to a bowl game. And yes, that's what Tennessee's going to do. But there's extracurriculars nowadays. There's agents. There's players that are fighting their butts off to get back from injury. What do they do now? What's the mood in the locker room when everybody's going to be pulled in different directions in terms of agents and parents and friends that all have opinions? It's just kind of where we are in college football right now. How do you see Tennessee responding from the third loss of the season, moving on to the final 3 games of the year?
That is such a loaded question because you can take this question, you can run so many different directions with it in college football in 2025. But first and foremost, Josh Heupel's got to get the ones that want to go out there and play football. You got to find a way to get these guys motivated when they know that goal number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 probably are off of the table. But you're playing for pride, man. And I don't think this team, I don't think Josh Heupel, this coaching staff, I think the culture at Tennessee has been pretty strong. I don't think this is the type of team that's going to just roll over and play dead. You got a glorified scrimmage coming up against New Mexico State. Do you have any pride in going down to the Swamp and playing against Florida? I didn't have it on my bingo card, Cainer, that we could possibly be trying to play spoiler for Vanderbilt. What freaking world do we live in? But I just think it's Josh Heupel. I think it's this team. I think it's this culture. I think they will show up and they will go out and they will compete. We talk about the small minority, we talk about the buzz. Where's this fan base? If you go out and lose to Florida and you go out and lose to Vanderbilt and Josh Heupel finishes this year 7-5, you think that small little minority and you got some of the national media talking to those people, that's going to be a massive group of people that are now turning on Josh Heupel. So go take care of business. But then on the flip side of that, you talk about agents. Let's start with Jermod McCoy. What does he do? I don't remember who. It was somebody in your VolQuest crew that made the statement. If you beat Oklahoma, I think Jermod McCoy tries to work his way back. If you lose to Oklahoma and the playoffs are off the line, if I'm Jermod McCoy, I'm looking towards the NFL draft. I don't know that you have anything to gain. What are you trying to put some tape out there? I think the NFL knows where you're at. I think they know who you are. So if I'm him, I'm probably shutting it down now. What does Josh Heupel do with some of these young guys? We talk about the roster. What is it, like 50% freshmen on this roster? How many of those guys get more run? And we talk about Joey Aguilar and what Joey has done for this football team and how phenomenal he's been, and he has. Do you hand the keys over to George McIntyre? I know he's not QB2 right now, but if he's going to be your QB going into the competition in the spring, if certain people are going to hit the transfer portal in the spring, then we need to ride with George McIntyre. He better play against New Mexico State, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. We need to see George McIntyre. What about some of these young wide receivers? What about some of these young linebackers, young corners? You got to play a lot of guys, give them opportunities, growing opportunities, but you also got to do it by managing your roster. We talk about young linebackers. Arian Carter and Jeremiah T-Land are going to be back next year. Are they looking in the rearview mirror going, why are you giving him my playing time? Do I have something to be worried about? I don't want Josh Heupel's job. I don't want that. I don't want to manage all these kids, all these egos, and trying to make everybody happy.
Couple of things. Let's go to the McCoy situation there. I think again, I can't speak for Brent or Ross or whoever said that at VolQuest, but I think it was more like okay, well, he's been working, been doing more on the field, still doing more on the field. If you lose to Oklahoma though, and then actually have the playoffs, that outside noise we talked about, like, does it get louder? Like what's the message being conveyed to a guy like Jermod McCoy now that Tennessee lost? I don't know. We'll see. And Josh Heupel was asked about it in his Monday press conference, and he said he continues to do more on the field like we've been talking about. Was pressed on, do you expect him to play this year? And he said, I think it'd be unfair for me to say that one way or the other. So we'll see what happens. Again, this entire time, I think McCoy's been working his freaking tail off to get back out there. I mean, Jalen McMurray, or was it Colton Hood? One of those two yesterday or earlier this week was just simply, it was Colton Hood, yeah, because he was making a joke about it. He was like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I might have just been turning the other way at this point, but he's working and trying to get back out there is what he essentially said. So we'll see what happens with McCoy, but you do know his agent's going to be like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Would you blame him? Would you blame him? I wouldn't blame him if he set the rest of the year out.
I wouldn't blame him. It'd be tough, though. Because I honestly, I think he's worked so hard to get back out there, and I certainly wouldn't blame him from a business perspective. But I do think, again, in this era where, so much of the want to and the team player, it's all minimized kind of. I think McCoy's got that, man. I think he wants to get back out there. We'll see. We'll see again. This is the bye week. We'll see where they're at next week. And
there's a huge difference to me because I know there's going to be a small minority of people that come at me and say, oh, that's the guy that got so mad when Jalen Hyatt sat out. There's a difference between sitting out because fear of getting hurt or whatever versus, hey, man, you're dealing with a serious injury that you're trying to come back from. So, whatever Jermod McCoy decides, I get it.
Before we hit the reset here, I do want to ask you, let's go back to Aguilar. I was asked this on the radio earlier this week. Are we, as Tennessee fans or Tennessee media, and even college football media, SEC media, are we not making a big deal enough about Joey Aguilar? I mean, we know his story, but the dude is he's literally, through 9 games, he's leading the SEC in passing yards and passing touchdowns. I mean, it's incredible. And I know Tennessee's off this week, so we'll see if Ty Simpson and Taylor Green kind of get back. Ty Simpson, if he throws 2 touchdowns, will. Taylor Green is about 375 passing yards behind him, 365 passing yards behind him. But, I mean, through 9 games, Joey Aguilar, literally Joey Aguilar, everybody picked him to be 13th best quarterback in the SEC, 14th best quarterback in the SEC. Some had him dead last, leading the SEC in passing yards, passing touchdowns. He's 3rd in QB rating. I mean, the dude, let's look at completion percentage just for laughs.
Almost 66.
He's 7th in completion percentage. I mean, we're not talking enough about this, man. That is, if I would have told you in July that Joey Aguilar would be leading the SEC, you would have told me I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you always call me an idiot, but just for another reason, right?
Obviously, I'm Joey Aguilar's #1 fan. I love the guy. Like, I love the story. I love seeing him get the opportunity. Seeing him play at App State, I didn't think he could do this, right? I'm like, I thought he could manage the offense, right? That's what we all said going into it. Maybe Joey is good enough to just manage the offense. We're going to have this elite defense like we did a year ago. Clearly, we have no idea what we're talking about when we cover this football.
But again, I make fun. I dunk on myself all the time for that. Okay. And I will. And I said that the run game wouldn't miss a beat. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as Dylan Sampson, obviously, but I thought Tennessee would surpass 2,500 yards. Boogie, as I told you on your show Monday morning, Tennessee would need to average 231.7 yards per game over the last 4, it's including a bowl game, to get to 2,500. But that was not a bad take. It was not a bad take, and I will stand by that. Like, was Tennessee's defense going to be as elite? No. But was Tennessee's defense going to be good? Hell yeah, it was going to be good. That is still not a bad take. Now, it's wrong. like you lost. I mean, you had a ton of injuries, and this team forgot how to tackle, and it was wrong. But I'm going to continue to say that was not a bad summer take at all, Boogie. So stop telling me it was, all right?
I'm just calling a spade a spade. You know what else was a bad take? Is saying that Joey Aguilar was going to come here and throw 500 interceptions, that he was going to put the ball in harm's way. Now, we saw what he did against Oklahoma. That was what people were scared of Joey Aguilar doing. And that's what kind of bothers me a little bit when the national people talk about Joey Aguilar, because they talk about the interception number, but it's like you're not watching the games. You're not seeing that he hit somebody in the hands and the ball popped up in the air and it's an interception, happened twice. They're not talking about Braylon Staley falling down on a simple little slant route and that leads to an interception. That's almost half of his interceptions right there. But Joey's been fantastic, man, and it's infuriating to see a guy like Diego Pavia, and Diego Pavia is a gamer. He's a competitor. He goes out and he wins games. Where Vanderbilt's at, whatever. Kudos. Here's your congratulations, I guess. Joey Aguilar is a better quarterback than Diego Pavia. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is the type of story, if this kid played for Alabama or Ohio State or Michigan or somebody like that, the national media would be glorifying it. They would be running it. They would be talking about it all the time. It's all you would hear every time the lights are on. This would be the story we were talking about. The comeback kid. He was going to quit. He was going to be a firefighter. And we got a little taste of it. Like a little taste of it only because game day was in town. Otherwise, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's bringing it up, and nobody's giving Joey Aguilar his flowers. And that's ridiculous. Does the national media truly hate Tennessee? That's what so many people say, and I always kind of laugh about it and say, no, they don't really hate Tennessee. They sure aren't talking about Joey Aguilar when they should be. What would they be doing if he was at UCLA? And UCLA was winning ball games, and Joey Aguilar was putting up these type of numbers, and Joey Aguilar was putting this team on his back. That's the thing, man, is when you look at it and you look at game-by-game performance, it's the fact that he's doing it against the Georgias, right? He's putting up these big numbers in SEC play, and you and I, a little text exchange, we don't have to say the full conversation that we had, but you're like, it's so maddening because Joey cost you the game, but he also kept you in it, and that's so true when you look at his numbers versus Oklahoma. It's a disservice that the national media is not giving Joey the respect, not giving him the praise, the talk that he deserves.
Now, if Tennessee would have beaten Georgia, I think that's a little bit different. If Tennessee would have beaten Alabama, and of course Georgia was much closer, I think you went down to Alabama, and Alabama was just a better football team, just plain and simple. Not by much, but I think Alabama was a better football team, especially that day. Tennessee should have beat Georgia 17 times, had 17 opportunities. You would have beat Georgia, I think maybe that conversation's a little bit different, but Joey's been fun to watch, man. I'm so thrilled that we get to watch him for hope. I would assume that guy's going to play in a bowl game no matter what, right? Like 4 more games, and maybe somehow they'll find a way for him to play next year. That would be fantastic, right?
I'm not ruling it out. It's up to him? Don't you think it's just up to him? I mean, if he goes and sues, do you not just think at this point? I mean, it sounds like Diego Pavia could have got another year if he wanted. That dude's like 47 years old and played 17 years of college football. Like, if you want to play another year. Is it not just as simple as, hey, picking up the phone, calling your attorney and saying, hey, let's go to court? I don't know that Joey wants to. I think and I don't think that I don't know that he's even thinking about it. I think he's thinking about 2025 and finishing out this season more than he is.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, when December comes and, if there's a chance that you can come back to Tennessee and there's a chance you can make ka-ching, some more money because you'll never make that much money again playing football. I don't know, what he's going to do after football, but he's probably not an NFL guy. A lot of people are asking, I know we got to hit a reset here, but a lot of people are saying, well, where is he on NFL draft boards? I'm like, well, he's 24, he's old, so he's going to be low, okay? But, I mean, maybe he's played his way onto somebody's draft. He's on somebody's board.
Practice team.
Yeah, maybe he'll get some tryouts and all that.
If he wants to.
But
what's this team look like if he does come back next year? This offense is going to be ridiculous if Joey Aguilar comes back.
I'm just thankful I get to watch him play for 4 more because he has been so much fun to watch, and I am a humongous Joey Aguilar fan, just as the next guy is right here. All right, I'm going to surprise Boogie with something when we come back. We're going to revisit something we did over the offseason. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keeps you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The Part Finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every single detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother and easier for you. Join that free Trademaster program to score serious perks like the priority shipping, the lower prices, and the dedicated support line today. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up and use that free promo code SHCollege5. SHCollege5 for 5% off. SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's all at supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. We do it every off season. Sometimes it's early, depending on if there's nothing to talk about in May and in April. Sometimes it's late, right before the season. But something that I did in radio with Tyler Ivins, I call it the Tennessee Football Player Draft. It's kind of it's as simple as this. One guy gets 10 picks, the other guy gets 10 picks. It's a snake. I go, he goes, I go, he goes. And then we see where our teams stack up when it's all said and done. Boogie and I did this back in April last year. When I was doing some shows ahead of my son being born, and then Nico leaves, and it was all for naught because we obviously couldn't do it again. So we did it later in the summer, and Boogie, I'm going to put it up here on the screen. I know who my number one pick is, and it was a freaking miss. I don't remember what my team looks like. I don't remember what your team looks like, but here it is. If you're watching on YouTube right now, this is what it looks like, and if you're listening to us right now, I will tell you what it is.
Oh my gosh! Look at your first 2 picks, bro. Look at our first 3 picks. This is
for those listening. All right, the number 1 overall pick. You never know what's going to happen. I took after Nico left. I took number 1 overall Boo Carter. Number 2 overall Boogie picked Jermod McCoy. Number 3 overall I picked Rickey Gibson. So clearly we're off to a great start.
You know what though? I want to know. I got to go back and listen to that show because we knew Jermod McCoy was injured. Yes. I guess I was buying into the hype that he was going to come back, looking at overall potential. Although you had no clue that Rickey Gibson was going to get hurt and that Boo Carter was going to pull a Boo Carter.
Oh my gosh, dude! I think there's a couple on your side that I really like. I think I win hands down. Don't you agree? Now I'll read the teams out real quick. All right. Team Cain, Boo Carter, Rickey Gibson, Joshua Josephs, Joey Aguilar, Chris Brazel, Wendell Moy, Lance Hurd, Edwin Spillman, Jackson Moy, Peyton Lewis. Team Boogie, Jermod McCoy, Mike Matthews, Arion Carter, David Sanders, Colton Hood, what a pick right there, buddy. Tyree West, Jeremiah Thielander, Miles Kitzelman, Deshaun Bishop, and George McIntyre. I think, obviously at this point in the season, I think my team would win, but boy, we have a couple of misses. Your best pick is Colton Hood. My best pick, besides Joey Aguilar, was probably Chris Brazel because he's gone off.
Yeah, Chris, take it. I mean, and that's you. I kind of remember this conversation, whether it was in this show or just another show. You said you're doubling down with Chris Brazel, right? You thought he would be great transferring in here,
like Dante Thornton.
That second year, man, Chris Brazel. Is he being mentioned for the Bolitnikov? I know Braylon was.
Yeah,
Chris
he is.
has
He's
to
on
be
the
in that
watch
conversation. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had to be in that conversation.
List.
That is hilarious. Man, just looking back at it, kind of funny.
So Peyton Lewis was my running back, and that's not good. You won the running back. You took Deshaun.
Deshaun Bishop that late. Of course, the running game's kind of fallen off here lately, but man, Bishop's
still,
been
man,
hot.
that's a good pick, man. He's had a really good year. David Sanders has been all right. Colton Hood's been fantastic for you. Mike Matthews has been great. Yeah, that's
looking at this though, like when we talk about this season and expectations and where we're at and why is this defense struggling, like when we look at who we thought were going to produce, right? Jermod McCoy, Rickey Gibson, even Boo Carter, Arion Carter battling not 1 but 2 turf toes. David Sanders, of course I'm going to take David Sanders, 5-star offensive tackle, expecting that kid to come in and start as a true freshman, and it was week after week after week that David's not out there on the field playing. Like this team, you look at the top of our board, man, they suffered some injuries of guys we expected to do big things. Expected them.
No doubt, for sure. And it's kind of tough to make progress. It's kind of tough to recover at points in times when, again, like the top 3 picks, Boo Carter, who's been a complete non-factor this year for reasons that are only up to him, Jermod McCoy and Rickey Gibson. That's tough. And I remember Boogie all offseason. This is another one of those freezing cold takes that Eric Cain was wrong on, and that's fine. I mean, this is so wrong. I was like, the best part about Tennessee's team this year is going to be the defense, and the secondary is going to lead the way. Because I, too, thought Jermod McCoy would not be out this long. I thought he missed a couple of games. I did not think he's going to be out this long. I thought Rickey Gibson was an NFL corner, and he still is. He's just hurt. I love Colton Hood. I thought Boo Carter was just going to be really, really good this year. That's clearly missed out on. I thought Jalen McMurray was going to be kind of your utility corner star, can do whatever, and I thought that was a dang good utility. Actually, Colton Hood could have been playing some star as well. Anyway, I thought all that was going to prop up your safety play. I thought it was, and because of injuries and because of Boo Carter issues, The secondary has been a bright spot with Colton Hood, and I like the fact that Tyler Evans getting a lot of PT because he's going to play a lot, or he's going to be good down the line. But the secondary this year has been bad, and that's honestly my worst take heading into the season was the secondary was going to lead the way.
And nobody cares, right? And nobody cares about injuries. But, man, how much different is this defense if your starting corners are Rickey Gibson and Jermod McCoy? And then to your point with Boo Carter, if Boo Carter handles his business, if Boo Carter does what he's supposed to do, he's starting in that star position. It's not Jalen McMurray. It's also not Jalen McCullough, but it's definitely not Jalen McMurray starting in that star position. He's in your two deep at corner. So your two deep at corner is Jalen McMurray and Colton Hood? Like, man, this secondary all of a sudden is, like you said, a strength of this defense. And if Boo is doing what he should, he's tailor-made for that star position.
And I think that if everybody was healthy, like Colton Hood was going to play at some point. Now, it wouldn't be he's on the field 96 snaps a game, but I think Colton Hood could have played some star. My question is, could they have pushed a McMurray? And I know the GQ and fans say this all the time, and it's not as simple as this, but like if everybody was healthy and you were trying to find some spots for like Hood to play, could they have pushed McMurray to safety? Could they have pushed a Boo? I don't think they'd have pushed Boo Carter to safety, but could Colton Hood have opened a lot of doors to make this secondary even better if McCoy was healthy and Gibson was healthy? Yeah, I think so, because you were gonna play those guys because they deserve to play and they're your best players. But how would you have made that work? I don't know. I don't know how it would have worked, but I think that it would have been really, really cool to see some of those guys play a little safety and help out that defense in that regard.
I thought Colton Hood, watching his Colorado film, when we had him on Talking Balls and interviewed him and got to know him, shout out to that kid, man. Such a great kid. But I thought he was tailor-made for star. He plays with physicality. He plays with aggression. Yep. Like you saw him in that Oklahoma game, little wide receiver screen, the way he attacks the blocker and goes and makes a play. I thought he was tailor-made for star. Why don't you think Boo Carter at safety? I mean, Boo played safety in high school, and I know high school football is different than SEC football, but I thought he was a dang good safety. And I thought we did a film breakdown where Coach Shea said, all right, I'm going to break down Boo at safety, I'm going to break him down at corner, and I'm going to break him down at running back, and you're going to choose which position. Every breakdown that Coach did, I went, well, that's the position I want. No, that's the position I want. No, that's the – because Boo could do it all, man, and that is the infuriating part about the way this season is playing out, because I keep saying Boo only let Boo down, and he did. At the end of the day, he's costing himself money. He's costing himself opportunities. He also let his teammates down, man. He's such a good football player that can't get out of his own way sometimes, allegedly. But, man, why not safety? Why don't you think Boo could have played safety?
No, I think he could. It was more like in my mind when I was talking out loud there, it was Boo would not play corner. It would be safety. But also he took such a big step last year playing star, and you want to keep it as simple for him as possible so he can just go out there and ball out, right? And so I was like, I don't know if I'd be moving Boo around. Like, just play star, ball out, dominate, do your thing. That's kind of my mindset. I think he could play safety and be just fine. I really do. I don't know if they would have toyed with moving him if everybody was healthy in this situation. But shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We'll see what happens. We have talked for 30-plus minutes, man. What a Friday show on a bye week, right? I'm not going to lie to you. I was sitting there texting you, and you're like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, I don't know, man. We'll just figure it out, right? But I just started laughing. I was like, sometimes it's good to not have an agenda, a docket, a list of things. It's just freeing to just talk about ball, right? Let's just sit down. Let's have a conversation. That's what I love about being doing what we do every single day. What do you guys got coming up on the Talking Vols Network this weekend with no football game?
I'm dropping videos throughout the week. I may put something out over the course of the weekend. No Friday morning show this week. Going to take some time off, spend some time with the family. We'll get back after it. Monday morning show with Cain, or Sunday night, probably do a fan call-in show, kind of have a conversation similar to this, and just let the fans come on and talk about it all. Next week, back to business as usual. So come check us out, Talking Balls Network. Just hit 33,000 subscribers. I set a goal of 35,000 before the season. I thought that was maybe a reach. But let's go get it. Let's put on more steam. Come check us out. Whether you're mad, angry, you got something you want to talk about, come talk about it. We'll do it on the Talking Balls Network.
If by some chance you're watching and listening to this show and you're not subscribed to the Talking Balls Network, go do it right now. You won't be disappointed. Boogie, as always, man, thanks so much.
Enjoy it, man. We'll catch up soon.
As always, really enjoyed chopping it up with Boogie Bentley. We went a little overboard here today, but I know you guys probably aren't complaining. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, listening to us, and hanging out with us, because that's what it's all about. It's just hanging out, and enjoying the time we have together. No football game this Saturday. There's college football, no Tennessee football game. We will get back at it Monday morning, New Mexico State week, the first of 3 to conclude the regular season. So we'll get back on the horse and see what Tennessee looks like after the loss to Oklahoma. So we have that to look forward to all week long next week. Right here on Locked On Vols, your number one spot for Tennessee football news and entertainment. Hopefully you learned something as well. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you again Monday morning. This is Locked On Vols.